This episode of In the Kitchen with Karen was filmed before a live studio audience. Hi everyone, and welcome back to In the Kitchen with Karen. So have you guys ever heard of that phrase, you can't teach an old dog new tricks? I've literally been cooking for a living on and off for 40 years, and I just learned something the other day for the first time. I have this air fryer here, which is a really cool appliance. And I learned that you can cook hard-boiled eggs inside an air fryer in 17 minutes. And literally all you're doing is putting them in the basket, hitting the temperature button and the time, and then after that you put them in ice cold water and the peels come right off. It's like a game changer, who knew? So today, with those hard-boiled eggs, we are gonna make something I also had never heard of, which is deep fried deviled eggs. But they're really cooked in the air fryer, so they're gonna be less calories and quicker. So all it is you make the filling for as you would a regular deviled egg, but the difference is the whites we are gonna put in an egg wash and flavored breadcrumb mixture, and then we are going to put them in the air fryer, spray a little spray on top, and they are going to get super crispy and crunchy. So it's going to be a really nice contrast, because you know, normal deviled eggs, they're just soft, where this one you're going to get the crunchy white and the creamy middle part. And then we are going to top it with some candied bacon. So I think you guys are going to love them. So let's get started. So this is how easy it is. We're just going to put 6 eggs in the air fryer. Now I was a little bit afraid to do this the first time because I thought maybe they were going to explode, but they didn't. And then we're just going to stick them back in there. I set the temperature to 275 for 17 minutes, and then I just press start, and that's all there is to it. All right, they finished cooking. Now we're going to take our cooked hard-boiled eggs and we're going to plunge them into a bowl of ice cold water. As you can see, the yolks came out perfectly done. So our eggs were sitting in the nice ice bath for 5 minutes. I peeled them and sliced them. Okay, now I'm going to show you my little trick for how I get the yolks out. I just take the other end of the fork and pop them out that way. And they just pop right out. Sometimes they don't completely pop out at once, but that's okay. Just scrape the filling out. So here's my tip about hard-boiled eggs. If you guys are going to plan on making deviled eggs, try to buy your eggs at least 1, if not 2 weeks before you're going to make them. Because older eggs, they peel easier than the newer eggs. I've really found that to be true. So if you just remember that little tip, they're going to peel a lot easier. Okay, so now it's time to bread our egg whites. And what we're going to need is seasoned breadcrumbs, some beaten egg, and some flour. So I'm just going to beat up my eggs here. And to the eggs, I like to add a couple drops of Worcestershire sauce. It just gives it a nice flavor. And then I have another little secret that I use. I use ranch salad dressing mix inside my breadcrumbs and my flour, but I just use a little bit. Now I don't even measure it. I just sprinkle it in there. It's probably like a half a teaspoon. And this just gives it that extra little flavor. So just mix it around in there. Let's get started dredging the egg whites. So the first step we're gonna do is dip it in flour. And what you wanna do is you wanna make sure all of it is completely coated, even the inside. Then shake off the excess, and then we're gonna dip it in the egg. Make sure you get the inside too. And then we're gonna toss it in the breadcrumbs.
Okay, go.
So how many of you guys have an air fryer? If you don't, I would highly suggest getting one. I gotta tell you, this air fryer honestly browns and bakes better than my $3,000 convection oven. The trick with the air fryer is you have a giant fan on the top of the air fryer. So what that does is it blows around all this hot air, so it's circulating the food. So it's gonna just make things really brown and crispy. Whereas a regular oven, the size of it compared to the fan is not enough hot air to blow around the food. So to me, it doesn't get as crispy or brown as the air fryer. And plus the air fryer, it cooks things a lot faster than a regular oven. And you don't have to heat your house up like a regular oven would. So there's really a lot of advantages to buying an air fryer. And you can buy an expensive one or a cheap one. I have two actually. Of course I do. Okay, now we're gonna place our eggs inside, and you don't want them to touch. Okay, I'm gonna put 2, 4, 7. I'm gonna put 8 in here. So you're gonna have to do 2 batches. So just do the other 4 in the second batch. Okay, and now we're gonna stick them back in our air fryer. And we're gonna set the temperature to 350 for 4 minutes. So while our egg whites are crisping up in the air fryer, let's get started on making our filling for the deviled eggs. So we are gonna smash up our yolks. And to that, we are gonna add about a 1/4 cup of mayonnaise. Now this is Japanese mayonnaise. My husband Chris is Japanese and he got me hooked on this. It tastes a lot better to me than just regular like Best Foods or Kraft mayonnaise. I think it has more egg yolks in it, so it's really rich, but it's really yummy. And you can find it at an Asian store, or I think maybe even like a Walmart has it. I'm not positive. To that, we're gonna add about a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, a teaspoon of sweet pickle relish. I like the sweet, but you could also use the dill relish if you prefer that. And then I like to add a couple drops of Worcestershire sauce. And my trusty secret ingredient, the Hidden Valley Ranch salad dressing mix, we are just gonna sprinkle maybe like a 1/4 teaspoon. And then we're gonna add about a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder.
Dang.
And of course we're gonna need a little bit of fresh ground pepper. So then all we're gonna do is stir that up. Now I can tell it's gonna need a little bit more mayonnaise. So I don't know about you, but I'm sometimes bad about measuring exact things. I just kind of eyeball it, and then if I see it needs a little more or something, I will add it. So this looks good though. You want it to be nice and creamy. You don't want it to be too soupy, but you want it to be creamy. This looks perfect. Okay, now we're gonna take these out and we are gonna flip them over. We're gonna spray them again with our olive oil spray. And then we're gonna stick them back in at 350 for another 4 minutes. So isn't everything better with bacon? So for our crispy deviled eggs, we're going to top each one with a couple pieces of candied bacon. So I like to put sugar in my bacon and make it sweet. It makes it a really good taste for the eggs. So our egg whites have finished cooking in the air fryer for 4 minutes on each side, and they've come out really nice. As you can see, they are nice and golden brown on both sides. So now what we're going to do is just put the filling inside. Okay, now it's time to put in our filling for the deviled eggs. Now I just use a spoon, but if you want to get fancy, you can get a pastry bag and put the filling in there and then pipe it into there. I do that if I'm having a party or a catering, but if it's just for Chris and I just use a spoon. So you're just going to take about a half a teaspoon of the filling and stick it in there. And I tend to use a little bit less when I'm first doing it, so I don't run out at the end, but then you can always go back and add a little bit more. You guys, you're gonna really like these. They're so crunchy, and then you got the creamy filling, and then you have the candied bacon on top. And then just to give it a little extra flavor, I'm also gonna put a piece of green onion on top. Okay, I still have a few more to go after this, so I'm not going to do all those for you. And there you have it, crispy air-fried deviled eggs. Okay, so we are all done making our eggs. So I think they came out really good. So I'm going to try one for you guys, even though I always hate eating on camera. So something about frying and making the outside crispy, and then you have the creamy, savory inside. It's just such a good contrast. And then with the candied bacon on top, you get that nice pop of crunchy bacon. So I really think you guys are going to love these. So I hope you give them a try, and if you do, let me know how you like them. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode.